Hi, welcome to Anchor Moment Minutes. My name is Gina LeBenz, and I have a passion for hearing people share their personal moments that they have encountered God in their lives, their special God moments that anchor their faith. And today, I have a really special guest. His name is Dave Ficere, and he is a writer, editor, and owner of Ficere Writing Solutions. And he also, for many, many years, was a broadcaster on Christian radio. And he has a lot of great anchor moments that he can share with us today. Stay tuned if you want to hear them. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Gina. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Can you tell us, Dave, your very first anchor moment that you've ever had where you accepted God into your life and you were able to feel his presence?
Absolutely. It's not the first anchor moment, but I think it's maybe the most pivotal. I came to know the Lord when I was in high school through the ministry and the testimony of a teacher who was a coach and became a dear friend. And he would have, back in those days, I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but
Okay.
teachers could have students over like for a Bible study or something, and he had a weekly Bible study at his home. And he took a group of us one time on a Saturday to see a Billy Graham film. And I had made a decision. I knew about the Lord before that, but during that film and the follow-up, I made a decision for Christ. That was in high school. I didn't really follow up on that, and I kind of fell away. I went off to college, did what a lot of college young people do, got in with a kind of a fast crowd, partying, drinking,
Mm-hmm.
that whole scene.
Yeah.
And wasn't getting along with my parents. I moved in with a roommate in San Diego. We lived in San Diego. We had an apartment a block from the beach, which was
Oh,
wonderful.
it would be
And
wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. And I got a job along the way at a pizza place delivering pizzas, mostly on the weekends. I
Okay.
like it. I like driving around, meeting people. The rule of thumb was the later it got in the night, the stranger the people got, and that was pretty true.
Yeah.
I met some neat people. I enjoyed the job. Well, the anchor moment came one night. I went out on a delivery. It was late at night. It was probably a Friday or Saturday, pretty late in the evening.
Okay.
And I had the address. I'll never forget this. I had 2 large pizzas and a 6-pack of Coke. So I go to this address and I get out of my car, and I'm loaded down pretty well. I've got the six
Mm-hmm.
pack, and I'm balancing the 2 pizzas. And this apartment complex had a wall on either side, and an opening where there would be a gate. They didn't have
Okay.
the gate, but they had an opening. And I later found out this was probably one of the worst areas of San Diego to be
Oh
driving
dear.
around late at night. I was pretty naive. I didn't know that,
Oh yeah.
and it was my job anyway. So I walked through this opening where the gate would be. I got about maybe 5 or 10 feet in, and I heard a noise behind me, and I felt a choke chain around my neck from
Oh
behind.
no.
Yeah, pretty scary. And I
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't have all I had time to do was just stiffen up and freeze. And the two I found out later is 2 kids, teenagers probably. They grabbed my food and they took off running down the street, and that was
Oh
it.
my.
Now, Gina, I probably had about $50 in my pocket, maybe, not a
Okay.
lot of money, but all they wanted was the food.
So they didn't
Well,
try to get your money.
didn't try to take my money, didn't hurt me other than getting my attention with the choke chain, which
Yeah.
got my attention. Trust me. Um,
Yeah.
well, this was really a moment I knew God was looking out for me, even though I wasn't following Him.
Mm-hmm.
Gina, I'm in one of the worst areas of town. I had left my car running across the street with the keys in it. What was I
And they
thinking?
didn't take your car.
They didn't take my car. They took off, ran down the street. Um, I very calmly, and I can remember this as clear as if it happened yesterday, and this was over 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
calmly turned around. I walked back to my car, got in my car, drove back to the pizza shop. I was perfectly composed. I was fine. Got back to the pizza shop, told the boss what had happened. They called the police. And as soon as I got there, and he had told me, well, as soon as the police talk to you, you can
Mm-hmm.
go home early. As soon as I got to the pizza shop, I sat down. I started shaking uncontrollably. I could not stop. I probably
Oh.
shook for an hour at least.
Mm-hmm.
Told the police my story. They ended up catching the guys a couple of weeks later, and
Wow.
they were kids or that young adults. I don't ever know what happened to them. They did catch them.
Wow.
Um, where that became an anchor moment, and I need to backtrack a little because I left out some of the backstory here. While I was living in San Diego, God kept bringing believers into my life. My my roommate's girlfriend, and he was as bad a guy as I was as far as what we were doing. But he had
Mm-hmm.
a really sweet Christian girlfriend, and she used to come over and we would talk, and we would kind of debate. And she knew her stuff. She knew how to defend her faith.
Mm-hmm.
She knew how to communicate the gospel and how to relate to where I was at in my life. And remember, I had made a decision in high school, so I knew a little bit. Um,
Right.
and at the same time, my sister had come to know the Lord, and she was going to this really fantastic church in my hometown. So she would talk to me. So all this is going on, and then this incident happens with the pizzas. Well, when I got home that night, and probably the next day, by the way, I ended up quitting that job about 2 days later.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
first I went back and told the boss I won't go to that part of town anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done doing that, and he kind of understood. But then about a week later, I thought, I don't really want to do this anymore, as much as I
Yeah.
liked it. But where I'm going with this story is that was a real wake up call. God was looking out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could have been killed
Oh
easily.
yeah.
People are stabbed all the time for $50 or less in or shot in our society. Even though this was a few years ago, I really felt God was looking out for me, and it really made me take stock of my life. I was in my 20s by then. Um, really was a sobering moment, an anchor moment, as you would call
Mm-hmm.
it. And shortly after that, my roommate's girlfriend gave me a book to read. By some of your viewers may know the name Hal Lindsey. He was popular
Okay.
back in the 70s. He wrote a lot of books about Bible prophecy, current events, and always tied that into the salvation message of Christ, why you need Christ. And she gave
Okay.
me this book to read, and as I read it, it really made a lot of sense, and it made a lot of sense in terms of what was happening in the world during the 70s, mid to
Mm-hmm.
late 70s. Some of the stuff we were seeing in the news, and you read the Bible and you read prophecy, and it's like, wow, these things the prophets wrote about, that they tried to conceptualize things they were seeing. We can look now and we see these things.
Yeah.
Um, so all of that came together. Long story short, I quit the job. The roommate and I parted company. I moved back to my parents' house. I started going to the church my sister was going to. Um, and interesting thing happened. All my party friends just kind of disappeared. They all just left my life. And I found a group of new friends. I rededicated my life to the Lord. Got into a wonderful church. Served in some of the ministries. That ultimately led me to my first career, which was Christian radio. I'd gotten interested in radio in high school, and I did that for 25 years. So my
Wow.
anchor moment, though,
Wow. And it
my
started
anchor
right
moment,
there
yeah,
when you were working a job selling pizzas, delivering pizzas.
exactly. That was my anchor moment, Gina. That God really, it was kind of the spiritual 2x4 that He uses sometimes to get our attention.
Yeah. But you know what else? Um, what I hear in that story, Dave,
What?
is when that happened, and you've got the choker around your neck and they grab your pizzas and they ran, that you were calm, and you had a calm peace about you. And all my friends who really talk about these times that they've encountered God, and here it wasn't a peaceful situation. It was a horrible, scary situation that could have gone worse. It could have been a lot worse. And it wasn't. And you had that calm peace. And then it was later, that, that night that you realized, oh my gosh, I could have died. They could have taken my car, and you were shaking. But when it happened, that calm peace, it had to have been God with you.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And I can't explain. I am not a very calm, peaceful person by nature. Just ask my wife. I didn't go after them. I didn't try to do anything. That peace came over me. And I turned around, walked back to my car, and I was in that peaceful moment until I got back to where I knew it was safe, the store.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the reality started to hit me. It probably was hitting me as I was driving, but I don't remember driving or anything. All I remember was getting back in the car, and the next thing I remember is being at the pizza place.
Wow. And that time of calm in that crisis, I think that is the real description of being in the grace of God.
Yeah. Totally agree. Amen.
Peace, and that little bit of wisdom, to not go chase them or react in such a way that it would have changed the situation real quick, and they would see, hey, wait, there's a car, because they really should have taken the car. They could have just taken the car and gone.
Yeah, they probably couldn't see the car because there was a wall, and I later found out from the police all they were looking for was free food.
Wow.
Wow. They got their free food, but they had to go into the legal system afterwards. So but I never heard anything other than I did hear the police caught them, and truth be told, this was probably not the first time they had done that.
Right.
But that was definitely a God moment of hitting me in the head with a 2x4 to get my attention to say, okay, my grace is with you, because your life could have ended tonight, and you could have been just another statistic.
Wow. And it's such a blessing too that there was another person that was called to be your angel, your roommate's girlfriend, to give you that spiritual book and to talk to you about God, and to be part of that change of the direction of your life. Exactly. I actually wrote a book, The Anchor Moment, Hope, Healing, and Forgiveness. And one of my chapters is about angels. And it's not just, like angels wearing wings, that sometimes we're called to be an angel for someone else and we don't even know it. And but God will put us in a situation and we can give somebody what they need, and we didn't even know that we were going to do it. It wasn't part of our agenda, but God puts the situation there that you could be an angel. And there's so many times that God has called someone else to be an angel for you, another person.
You want to hear another angel story, or you want to hold that for later?
I would. Let's do that one on our next episode of Anchor Moments. We'll bring Dave back for a part 2, and we'll hear about some angels in his life.
Thanks for watching. Please click to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when we post new Anchor Moments videos.